You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Well, my name is Jessica and this is my story. I was only 14 when my life turned into a shadow of what it once was. My parents, hard-working farmers in our quiet village, were my world. But death, cruel and unyielding, snatched them away, leaving me in the care of my stepmother, Mama Aduk, and her daughter, Tolu. Little did I know that I was stepping into the lion's den. From the moment I stepped into Mama Aduk's house, I became nothing more than a servant. Every morning, before the first rooster crowed, I fetched water, swept the compound, and prepared their meals. Tolu sat like a queen, her hands unsoiled, while I toiled endlessly. The beatings were unprovoked, one word out of place, one task undone, and Mama Aduk's whip would kiss my skin, leaving scars that burned for weeks. One day, after a particularly brutal beating, Mama Aduk dragged me to the village square. There, under the shade of a great baobab tree, stood an old man with a face as dry as harmattan winds. His name was Bobatond, a wealthy cocoa merchant known for his cruelty. "Here," Mama Aduk said, pushing me forward, "take her. She's strong and will serve you well." She sold me for a bag of gold and a sack of yam, not even sparing a backward glance as Bobatond led me away. Life in Bobatond's mansion was a new kind of torment. He counted every morsel I ate, measured the water I drank, and reminded me daily that I was nothing but his property. "I bought you," he sneered whenever I hesitated to obey. Sometimes, he tied me to a post in the yard, leaving me there for hours under the scorching sun. When Mama Aduk visited, her only concern was the coins Bobatond pressed into her palm. She took the money, laughed with him, and left me behind like forgotten luggage. Months passed, each day heavier than the last, until one morning, while Bobatond was away, I decided to risk everything. I had been secretly saving the small coins I found while cleaning his rooms. With trembling hands, I wrapped the money in a cloth, slipped out of the compound, and ran. I ran until my legs gave out, until the dense forest opened into the bustling city of Ibadan. I was a stranger in this vast place, but I found shelter in a quiet corner of a crowded neighborhood. There, I met Kofi, a young man who lived next door. He wasn't rich, but his kindness was a balm to my wounded soul. When I showed him the scars on my back and told him my story, his face darkened with anger. "No one deserves this," he said, his voice firm. For months, I stayed hidden, mending both my body and spirit. Kofi became my protector, my anchor in a stormy sea. But peace was short-lived. One day, while shopping in the market, I saw one of Bobatond's guards. My heart froze. As soon as he recognized me, I bolted, weaving through the crowded streets. They chased me, shouting threats, but somehow, I managed to escape. When I returned to Kofi's house, trembling and breathless, he said, "Enough is enough." That night, he made several phone calls. I didn't know then, but Kofi's father was a renowned journalist with powerful connections. Within days, Bobatond, Mama Aduk, and their accomplices were arrested. Justice, swift and unforgiving, came for them. For the first time in years, I was free. The weight of my past began to lift, replaced by the warmth of a new life. Over time, Kofi and I grew closer. His kindness became love, and his home became mine. We built a life together, one rooted in hope and the promise of brighter days. And so, like the tales our elders tell under the moonlight, my story found its happy ending. But I will never forget the pain or the strength it took to overcome it. In the end, it was not the wealth of Bobatond or the cruelty of Mama Aduk that defined me, it was my resilience, and the kindness of a man who saw my worth when I had forgotten it myself.